The first time I saw her, I didn't realize how much she would change my life. I was sitting in the corner of the small cafe, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, when my best friend's sister walked in. She had this quiet confidence about her, like she knew the world wouldn't break her. Her smile wasn't flashy, but it had this warmth that made it impossible to look away. My best friend, Mark, waved her over, and I felt my stomach do something I hadn't felt in years, a nervous little flutter. Mark laughed, joking about some inside story I wasn't part of, and she rolled her eyes in that charming, exasperated way that made you want to laugh with her, even if you didn't know what the joke was. I couldn't help but notice the small things, the way her hair caught the sunlight, the soft tilt of her head when she listened. For some reason, I couldn't look away. It was a week later, on a rainy evening, that she appeared in front of me unexpectedly. I had been at the park, feeding the pigeons and lost in thought, when I heard a voice call my name. "Hey," she said. She was drenched from the rain, her hair plastered to her face, but she was smiling. "Mind if I join you?" I shook my head, words failing me. Something about seeing her standing there, soaked but unbothered, made my chest tighten in a way I hadn't felt before. We sat together on the wet bench, the rain pattering around us like a private symphony. We didn't talk much at first, just shared the quiet, letting the storm outside become the soundtrack of that unexpected moment. Then she said something that would stay with me forever. "You know," she began, her voice soft, almost hesitant, "I've been meaning to ask, would you like to go out with me?" I froze. The words hung in the air, heavier than the storm above us. I didn't expect it. I wasn't ready. My mind raced, trying to form a response that made sense, that didn't betray the sudden storm of emotions inside me. I looked at her, really looked at her, and in that moment, I realized something important. Love wasn't about timing, or logic, or even preparation. Love started from the heart, pure and simple. So I smiled. And I said, "Love always starts from the heart." Her eyes widened slightly, but in that moment, I think she understood what I meant. We didn't need perfect timing or grand gestures. We only needed honesty and openness. From that night on, our relationship blossomed in ways I couldn't have predicted. We went on long walks, talking about our fears, our dreams, our favorite childhood memories. She laughed at my terrible jokes, and I marveled at the way her eyes seemed to light up even in the darkest of times. It was easy, natural, like two souls recognizing each other after years of wandering alone. But life, as it often does, had its own plans. One afternoon, I received a call from Mark. His voice was strained, quiet in a way that immediately set off alarms in my mind. "Hey, can you come over? Something's happened." I rushed to his house, my heart hammering. When I arrived, I found him sitting on the couch, his head in his hands. I could see her sitting beside him, but she looked different. Her smile was gone, replaced with a shadow I didn't recognize. I don't know how to say this," Mark started, his voice trembling. "But, she's sick. Really sick. The doctors, they're not sure how long she has." Time seemed to stop. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. The world around me blurred, the vibrant colors of life fading into gray. The girl who had made my heart feel full and alive, the one who had asked me to love her, was facing something I couldn't fix. I wanted to scream, to cry, to beg the universe for a different story. But she reached out and took my hand. "It's okay," she whispered. "I want you to remember something. Love always starts from the heart. Not from fear, not from circumstances, from the heart." Her strength in the face of despair was overwhelming. I realized then that love wasn't just about happy moments or shared laughter, it was about standing together when life was cruel, about offering comfort when words failed, about being present when the world felt like it was falling apart. The days that followed were some of the hardest of my life. I spent every moment with her, holding her hand through treatments, sitting beside her during sleepless nights, and listening to her stories as if each one were a precious treasure. She taught me more about courage, kindness, and the human spirit than I had ever learned in a lifetime. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange and pink, she turned to me with a faint smile. "Promise me something," she said. Her voice was weak, but her eyes held the same fire I had fallen in love with. "Anything," I whispered, gripping her hand tightly. "Promise me you'll keep loving, even when I'm gone. Promise me you'll let your heart guide you, always." Tears streamed down my face as I nodded. I promise. She squeezed my hand gently, a soft farewell in that simple gesture. That night, I realized that love wasn't about holding on forever, it was about the moments we shared, the impact we had on each other, the way our hearts connected, even briefly. When she passed away, I felt as though a part of me had been ripped away. The grief was unbearable, but in the quiet moments, I remembered her words, "Love always starts from the heart." Slowly, I began to live again. I carried her memory with me, allowing it to guide my actions, my choices, my relationships. I reached out to others, offered kindness to strangers, and embraced the people I loved with a fierceness I hadn't known before. Because love, I realized, wasn't limited to the person you held in your arms, it was a ripple that spread through every life you touched. Years later, I would sit in that same cafe where I first saw her, thinking about how one simple question, "Wanna go out with me?" had changed everything. I smiled to myself, remembering her laughter, her courage, and the way she had taught me the truest meaning of love. Love, I understood now, truly always starts from the heart. And when it does, it leaves a mark that not even time or loss can erase. Her presence in my life, brief as it was, became a testament to the power of love, kindness, and humanity. And in honoring her memory, I found a deeper purpose, to love fully, to live openly, and to carry her light in my heart every single day.